So like Preed, we've already talked about, is Nathan Lane. He's like a fruit bat alien. He is a scumfuck. We are immediately introduced to him being a scumfuck because he is perving on Akima in front of Kale the entire time.
Someone kind of like installed a little bit of Andrew Cuomo whenever they put that plate on his head.
Oh god, yeah. He's like half of his head is a giant steel plate. He's missing an ear.
It's a cool design.
We're introduced to Stith, who we've chatted about, who is the weapons expert, played by Janine Garofalo. She's like an alien kangaroo, except instead of being like a normal alien kangaroo, she is like 90% legs. She kind of is just in a low squat.
Yeah,
the entire
legs,
time.
The legs are sort of like the bottom half of the letter H.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very easy to poop. Just
true.
Drops right out of her.
And I wanted to bring this up because to quote Roger Ebert's positive review of this movie, and he did give a positive review of the movie.
I remember. Yeah.
I wonder why.
She, quote, looks like an extremely Callipygian kangaroo. And I looked that up, and Callipygian means having well-shaped buttocks.
Oh, no.
He also misspelled Callipygian.
Oh my God. Really, the most upsetting thing about this is that learning that Roger Ebert was also a butt guy. You know, like, I feel like all of my illusions shattered.
Breasts.
This is also the scene where we find out that space boners exist, by the way, because he keeps asking for his pants. And at one point, Akima's like really close to him, and he's like, and she's like, should I be worried about anything? He's like, well, you better get me some pants. And it's the implication being that he has an erection that is dangerously close to her.
Crazy.
He's floating in like the 0G med bed.
You see butt?
You do see butt. Not just butt, you see his entire backside.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing, all the way head to toe.
Whole.
He shows whole.
He shows
And
whole.
bends over, he
in,
spreads them.
and they go from animated to CGI like 4 times, like back and forth. Ugh.
The camera just spins around that table. We see the balls floating in air. You know, shaft like a sock in the breeze.
Mm-hmm.
Don, I understand what you're saying. I understand the tech is impressive, buddy. I just don't know.
Listen, we need the positive review from Ebert.
Give me more polygons. I need to see it.
Give him butt.
We need to see every last pore on
I
his
did I did like that scene as well, because Akima's idea of treating Kale's, like, people get shot a lot in this movie and no one knows how to treat gunshot wounds. Akima's idea of treating is to like take a tuning fork and just kind of like jam it into the wound a little bit. Just kind of wiggle it around. Like they don't have hypo spray stuff. We don't actually see his wounds get closed.
It just seems like one of those things where there was like, scene TK, and then it just didn't happen. And they were like, well, we didn't get it in, but we got to start animating. So like, whatever.
So the other character we're introduced to is John Leguizamo's goon, who is basically just like a little turtle.
He's got a little cave.
He's the resident mad scientist. We're introduced to him. He's built some kind of device out of like hyper plutonium, and he invented it in his sleep. He doesn't know what it does, but it has a big red button on top. And this is just how wacky and zany he is. And I don't know some of John Leguizamo's more, or maybe I do and just don't remember it being him. His more kind of like, you mentioned him having better voice roles than this, because in this one he's just kind of making like weird kind of rasping noises and like turtle clicks.
Well, okay, so I think he was trying.
Yeah.
The sense that I get with all of the performances in this movie is that there was not good direction for any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my big thing with this movie overall, is I just feel that there was a severe lack of direction. I think that there are a lot of, even you could have everything else exactly the same storyboards, same voice actors, same script, and you could have a better movie in the hands of a better, more competent, and more focused director.
I would recast Drew Barrymore. But yes,
I mean, I would too. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying that there are numerous casting choices.
Is full in support of the Drew
that's right. I think
choice.
It's great. I think it's the best casting choice imaginable.
Listen,
no, I'm just saying, like,
if only there was a Charlie's Angel that could have played this role.
What a shame.
What was Cameron Diaz doing?
What I'm saying here is that when you have all of the pieces, even if they are pieces that don't fit, a good director can oftentimes make the product more than the sum of its parts.
Yeah,
and I actually think that this movie is less than the sum of its parts.
Correct. Yes.
for the amount of money put into this, for the amount, like, for the casting that they got, like the caliber of actors beyond what they deliver.
Exactly. They are not just struggling for finding good people, but just
Matt Damon is not having
utilization.
trouble landing roles in the year 2000. That's not a problem.
There's such gross underutilization.
Well, and it's also the thing that, like, so in 1995, Aladdin comes out, right, and Robin Williams is the lead of it. And up until that point, you know, this has been talked over in a lot of other animation sort of related stories and podcasts and things. But basically, when he took over in 1995, it became much more popular to bring in celebrity voice actors from then on out. Like, the seal had been broken. Up until that point, it had just been like, if you voiced cartoons, that was your job, right?
And I feel like it was the 1-2 punch of that and Toy Story, right?
Yes.
Like when you got Tom Hanks
couple years
and,
later,
and Tim Allen there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so this is I feels like suffers from that as well, because while I think Matt Damon is a good actor, I don't think he's a particularly compelling voice actor.
He's a terrible
in this
voice
role.
actor.
He's not emoting in any of this.
He's not as bad as Drew Barrymore, who
That's true.
who just has a very idiosyncratic voice, and you could utilize her well in animation. It's just not for the cool badass,
Not this character,
lead role, right? She doesn't even play that role in Charlie's Angels. She's the fun, like, you know, ditzy one.
She's got to be the goofy one. That's her thing.
Yeah. So it was casting against type, and I understand the need to do that, but I just feel like you listen to her performance, and then Jim Cummings is also in this movie as just like a one-off role in the background, and it pops so much more because it's clear he looked at the character design and then crafted a voice to match the character design.
Yes.
Whereas everybody else in this movie, like, they crafted the character design to them, and it makes it worse. It makes the whole film worse.
But also, I don't know, AJ. Like, obviously, you act. You're an actor. You've been known to act here and again, and also we do voice shit on our podcast all the time. We are voiceover artists in a sense, and I guess it's like, I think you know and I know, like, we know, like, being a good voice actor is different from being a good actor.
Yeah.
It is a different skill set.
Much sillier faces.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. In order to be a good voice actor, you will make the silliest fucking faces while you're doing it, because that's how you get the noise to come out of your face.
Yeah, even honestly, if you are playing a cool character, you are gesticulating and doing so much more than you would playing a cool character in live action, because you don't have a body to, like, show yourself on the screen, so you have to do the things in order to get the performance to come out.
To get the weird out somehow.
Yes, and I think as a really good example of that, we talked about on our show with the movie The Sweatbox, which is a documentary about the creation of the Emperor's New Groove, which would have come out around the same time as this movie. And that is a movie with phenomenal voice acting across the board. And when you see the clips of that voice acting, you're like, oh, this is how the sausage is made.
Yeah, Eartha Kitt acting that Yzma is like, it's full on pointing, and it's like
her headphones fly off of her head because she is gesticulating so wildly.
Wrong lever!
You're clearly not getting that level of elevation from these characters.
They've got their hands crossed behind their backs.
Ron Perlman is on the phone.
The animation style, because it's in that Don Bluth style, particularly with, like, the creatures, it wants to be big. It wants to be over the top.
Yeah.
So now we're at Planet Balls.
We're on Ball
Planet.
And this is where there are a couple of points where the CGI, I think, kind of looks good. Like you mentioned, some of the space things with the like the different ships kind of being modeled and moving around.
Yeah.
This is where the CGI for me, like, really becomes noticeable, and where they clearly didn't budget a lot of time for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this scene is where we get clashing between well-drawn art and, like, PS1 cutscene graphics kind of being, like, smashed together.
In this CG shit, there are times where they start dropping frames. There is not a consistent frame rate across these sequences for the CG shit.
I think we actually have the best example of this when we get to it right at the end, the pan out shot. And just how scuffed it
The very
end. The very end.
We'll get there.
I actually have that in my notes of just like, oh, the budget ran out right at the end.
Maybe do one more pass on those textures. Maybe.
You can smell the crunch as they start to go from, like, PS1 down to N64.
Yes, I'm going on lunch break. Ship it.
We don't need polygons. We need conclusion.
So yeah, basically now that Kale is on board with the team, he is like, they have found this map on his hand. It's weird. Sometimes this is treated as like the map is like scorched into his hand, Indiana Jones style.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it's really just his ring is projecting it onto his hand.
Oh, I didn't realize that that's what was happening.
But that also introduces the plot point of like, why doesn't anyone just like take the ring from him? I guess I get
just
it's
take
gene-like.
the hand.
Why not just take a picture of his hand?
Chop the hand off?
Yeah,
just take the hand.
That's what makes sense to me. Yeah.
This is the future, baby. We can keep that thing alive.
Yeah. So the first clue has taken them to this planet. That is basically it's Planet Balls. And it's Planet Balls because there's hydrogen forests, which are basically these giant floating animated testicles full of hydrogen. The characters talk about how much it stinks everywhere. It's basically like a swamp planet.
Yes. And when I'm like, I'm going to build my city, I'm going to build it on top of hydrogen bombs.
That's right.
And Preet is getting out of the ship, setting up his gun. I'm assuming the next thing he's immediately going to do is try and just light a Marb 100.
Like a fucking chain reaction would just destroy the entire planet. But yeah, they are going to find a race of people called the Ghoul, the Ghoul.
The Guardians of Ga'Hoole, I believe. They're the owl people.
Bunch of owls,
And these are giant, and they're giant bats.
Yeah,
they're
they
very
really
cool.
fell off after the book series.
Yeah, they really did.
I really like the designs of these guys. This is my favorite character design, I think, in the entire movie.
Well, it's a color. It's red.
Yes.
Everything else has been like beige and like yellow and gray. And this is like, it's a neon red. Also, no one does capes.
And their wings make like
Dawn
cloaks whenever they stand.
Yeah. It's the Land Before Time. Yeah.
They got far enough into the film where they were allowed a little access to the color palette as a treat. Here you go.
I also like this because no one knows who the Ghoul are. So whenever they land, Corso, as they get surrounded by all of these unarmed and peaceful bats, he whispers to Stith, like, open fire on 5. He counts down, he gets to like 2 before Akima is like, hey, wait, maybe these are the Ghoul, the only sentient people on this planet.
Hey, dipshit, maybe the welcoming party are the people we've been waiting to see.
Well, and there's a moment here that, again, it's like, there's another movie in here that has more moments like this where the guy, the bat guy kind of like raises one hand and then Kale raises his hand. And it's like, how are we communicating here?
Way.
Yeah, and it's like, this is sci-fi. This is sci-fi. How do we communicate with each other?
Yeah. I did like that because it was a scene of like, the bats can't speak English. They can't speak whatever the common language is. So I liked it because it was just a fun little scene to me of this bat, like, he has been granted the task by Sam Tucker of like, my son is going to be here and you need to guide him on the next step to save our species. And this dipshit kid doesn't know which way, like which side of his hand to hold up.
Yeah.
And this bat is like screeching frustratedly at him like, no, turn your fucking hand.
You have a thumb too, asshole. Point it this way.
108, not 360, 108. No, don't turn around. Why are you doing that?
Well, and this is why I find the rest of this scene so frustrating, right? Because if you treat that bit as this is somebody paying off a promise that was made, and now the other piece of that promise must also be paid, it's mostly played as like a goof, and then directly after that, a whole bunch of these bat guys just get fucking annihilated and are treated as cannon fodder. And that's really frustrating because it's like, well, why should I care? Why should I care about any of this?
Right. And also just like, how was this promise made if they couldn't speak the same language? I feel like making them not speak English or not speak the language, like whatever the Earth language that this movie is in, like you lose a lot of opportunity because they can be just like, oh, I thought I was being sent someone who was smart and you're a fucking idiot. But your father promised us this, or your father did these things, saved my son, for example, to give some justification why they would kill themselves to save these humans, to try and save humanity. You could make an argument for why humanity should be saved here, because currently in this movie, I think they should just go away.
Agreed.
The two characters, or like the two kinds of characters most invested in actually saving humanity, almost all of them are non-human. Like, Tech cares about saving humanity. The Ghoul care about saving humanity. Goon, I guess, cares about saving humanity. Like, Corso, Kale by this point does not give a shit. Akima kind of gives a shit.
Goon has been just wanting to press the button this entire time.
He mostly wants to lick hands, in fairness. That's like 90% of his screen time.
Oh, he wants to suck someone's palm for like 3 hours.
You've heard of throw hands? We're going to lick hands today.
Yeah, that's right.
My people have a custom. Get over here.
They don't call the Goon Cave for nothing.
That's right.
Finger suck battle. I challenge you.
Who up sucking they hands?
I challenge you to a suck-off.
That's right.
I'm so excited we're in Yu-Gi-Oh now. Let's fucking do this.
I'm undefeated.
Everybody just stands
Varsity
around in a
champ.
circle yelling, suck, 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 suck.
I will.
John, no, you don't actually need to suck Matt Damon's hand. No, John,
Just a
please.
taste.